What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reliable Trades podcast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and you like this video. And if you're listening to this on the audio over on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or any other platform, please leave a review. That's all free and it helps support the show and helps it get out to more people. And of course, I'm your host, Adrian Garcia. I am an HVAC technician, licensed contractor here in Texas, and I've been doing this about 18 years. And we just have a lot of good conversations with good people in different trades now, whether it's HVAC, plumbing, electrical. I've had some others in like auto mechanics, anything like that. You bring them on, have a good conversation, and hopefully get more trade awareness out there. So I appreciate everybody who's watched or listened, all the support and making this podcast successful and what it is now. I also want to thank the sponsors of the show, like Jobber, which is a CRM that we use to run our business, which is invoicing, quoting, scheduling jobs, maintenance contracts. It makes it so easy, and all our technicians on our team usually pick it up relatively quickly. I just have to show them what it is and they are able to get out there and start, invoicing everything that needs to be done. I can also update prices, client list, everything remotely, and they have it there on their phone, tablet, or laptop. It's been great running our business with Jobber now, and if you guys want a free trial and discount, make sure to check the link down below, getjobber.com/reliable HVACR. I also want to thank Vito Pro Pack, the best quality bags that money can buy, literally. Spring promotion is the best time of year by far. So check out Vito Pro Pack at your supply house or go to vitopropack.com to learn more. And the podcast is also brought to you by Local. Local HQ is a marketing that is geared towards the trades, and they can help you with your HVAC digital marketing so that you can dominate your local service areas with proven strategies that get your business more leads. They can help you rank higher on Google and all that you would need for your business. So reach out to Local at localhq.com/reliable and mention me or the Reliable Trades podcast and get 2 months of SEO for free. I'm here at the Heatcraft booth with
David Bolaños. I'm Director of Marketing and Product Management
for Heatcraft.
So
today I wanted to come by because I was told that you guys have A2L equipment, and this one here can actually do A1 and A2L.
Exactly.
Can you give me an overview of this one?
Absolutely. So one of the things that we've been concerned about over the last couple of years, especially with the transition, is to help our customers transition as easily as possible to the new A2Ls. So one of the things that we wanted to address was upgradability. All of our A2L systems, whether it's a complete system or just one unit cooler or the condensing unit, is fully backwards compatible with A1s, like 448, 449.
So this can take any refrigerant now and A2L in the future?
Correct. This takes 3 A2L refrigerants that we're going with.
Like now?
Right now. But it also, you can pump any type of A1 refrigerant, 448, and it'll work. What you are seeing here is, especially on the unit cooler, is the fully charged unit cooler with the refrigerant detection system. That has sensors for the A2L.
Yeah, so since it's A2L already, you got those A2L sensors. I was told you got one like on each side there.
Yes, you have one on the header side and one on the electrical side, which is here. And we also have an A2L controller. And the A2L controller is in essence the brains of the A2L system.
Can you explain to me this whole compartment here? Because I was told, like you said, you're trying to make sure that it's compatible with a lot of old and new systems, right? So going forward, this is your new setup here, and you have a lot of these electronic components for A2Ls.
Yeah, so the A2L specific component are the sensors. You see one here. I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up. And you also have the A2L controller up there, which is the brains of the system. The A2L controller is the one that is in charge.
Sure.
So once there is a leak, once the sensor sense a leak, the A controller will activate any type of mitigation that's required per UL to address the leak.
So that's like you said, the brains of it, and that's going to be controlling essentially any sensor that senses a leak Is there anything else that it does, or because
that is its sole purpose. So
yes, because everything is in the intelligent controller on this side.
you don't need intelligent for the A2L controller to
you don't?
No, the mitigation. So this can act as a standalone.
So both of these are standalones, because like I said, I work on a lot of this equipment. I've seen a lot of the intelligent, and super easy to install. That's my favorite part about it. But that works on its own. You guys are adding this just for A2L.
Correct. And you get the best of both worlds when you use them together.
Sure.
Because intelligent, as you are aware, it allows you to connect. You can get email, text, and you can get email and text if there is some sort of an issue with the system. So what's going to happen is intelligent, when there is a leak, actually the A2L controller will give you an early warning.
Sure.
So intelligent, if you have intelligent, you'll get the green light will turn yellow.
Yeah.
And it will actually let you know with words that there is a leak happening.
And that's easy to read, because I have customers, I put a lot of these in already. I have customers that'll call me, hey, it's flashing yellow. It says, something, or it says this, and they can kind of tell me before I get there what's going on with it. I don't have any cloud or connectivity to it, but just being able to see the big screen and tell what's going on, that's kind of cool.
And one more thing, when you also get the web server card, which is an option for intelligent, that's where you get the email.
Yeah, the
text,
alerts.
and it's actually going to ping whoever is in that distribution list that there is a leak happening before the A2L controller actually activates any of the mitigation mechanisms that are required.
So as far as compatibility, you guys are really into that. I was told that going forward, these evaporator units, they're going to have it ready for this board, but you can get it without the board, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
And we're super excited about that, because that is what we wanted to address early on. Like, how do we make it as easy as possible for the contractors and the wholesalers? So you're going to be able to buy the fully charged, like I mentioned earlier. But the great thing is you can also buy a model, an A2L model, that comes without the refrigerant detection system, and then you can purchase the kit. But the cool thing is that the one that comes without is fully ready. It's got all the labeling, the UL certification, and then later on, as you have requirements and needs to upgrade, then you buy the refrigerant detection system kit, and you completely upgrade the system, and it's fully compatible or compliant with UL.
See, that's what I like about this equipment and the electronic components, is that it's upgradable. A lot of it's programming. You just tell it what you need it to do, and it'll adjust itself. And like you said, if you buy anything going forward, it's ready. You can get it without the board, put it in later. I deal with that a lot. I have a lot of customers that have older equipment, and we kind of just get them by with like an A1, and then they're going to need an A2L like in the next year or whatever it is, right? So
exactly,
we can upgrade them.
And one more thing, it addresses also the triggering new from EPA. So as you're replacing equipment later on, you can sell the one without the refrigerant detection system. It'll work with an A1.
Exactly.
But later on, as equipment is being replaced, you already have part of the system ready.
It's still good. You don't have to rip it out.
Exactly. And one more thing about intelligent, if you have the intelligent field mount kits, you only need to upgrade the firmware. So you don't need to buy new hardware with intelligent.
Yeah.
The intelligent will come ready with all the new refrigerants, the A2Ls. And again, if you have the IFM, the intelligent field mount kit, universal kit as we...
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, the kit. Only a firmware upgrade and you're good to go.
So any of the intelligence that I put in, like in the past couple years, we can just firmware upgrade them and we'll be good?
You can firmware upgrade, but that alone does not make the system...
Yeah, you still need that.
A2L compliant. Because you do need it. There's a labeling and some componentry that makes it, that we are required to address.
But as far as the intelligent, that's just a firmware upgrade. And,
exactly.
The other stuff you do need too. I also want to thank Diversitech. They simplify your work. They have everything a contractor needs to complete a job. That goes from equipment mounting, condensate, management, tools, maintenance chemicals, electrical components, indoor air quality, and much more. They have different branches under the same umbrella. more than likely you're already using some of their products or tools. So go check out diversitech.com, and it's your one-stop shop for everything HVAC. I've gotten a lot of compliments on these line set penetration covers. They're basically, when you get an install done, you have the line set coming out the house or whatever a wall you came out of. You normally have to put like foam spray or, you know, cover it up somehow. Eric's has these covers that just look professional, and I like the form factor. I've seen others and they're a little bit too bulky. You know, this one, it just gives you what you need. They have two different models. If you need a slimmer one, they have that too. And what I really like is they finally have now one for existing line sets. Now it's two pieces, and you kind of just put them together over the line set and then mount it and drill it in. And it's a good selling point to make an existing install look better. I've gotten so many compliments, like I said. So make sure you go over to ericsmfg.com and check them out.
All right, so I was told to come check this out. So you guys have an A3, basically, this is a condenser unit?
So Adrian, this is a package refrigeration
unit. Oh, yes, it is.
Unit.
I can see now.
It has the high side and low side in one full package. You put this on the rooftop of a refrigerated box, and it's flush. So very happy to announce that we have the R290, an R290 package unit. So R290 is propane. And we on the small, we have three sizes.
Okay.
The small chassis is propane, but we have a medium in large size, and because of the limits of propane, we are using A2Ls on the large ones.
That was going to be my next question, because I know there's a limit on, like, if you're using propane-based refrigerants. So your smallest one is that A3, and then you can use A2Ls for a larger one.
Exactly. And as UL has increased the minimum charge that we can use for propane, we're actually launching the larger propanes later in 2025.
Okay, so as you'll be ready as that increase comes.
That actually is ready now.
It is?
Yeah, but we decided to launch first with the small one.
Okay.
But we are working on the medium and as high as we can go. With the 300 grams but you know, this is actually a package unit. So from EPA, it is effective now, January 1, 2025.
So this is out?
Yeah, so this is out, absolutely. And if you are, you know, if you have an OEM or you're installing a project that is going in a new installation, you need this in 2025. So we're very happy that we have it.
I'm very excited. I started working on some R290 equipment, but it's always like these really small under counter, you know, coolers and stuff. I didn't know if I was going to see it in the walk-in, you know, box application. So that's what this is for.
And the very nice thing about this one is just plug and play. It's a three-prong electrical. You connect it. There is a control that is on that side that you can see later, and you just set the room temp set point that you need, and that's all you have. That's it. You don't have to do anything more.
It's a super simple system.
Very simple.
That's my favorite kind. So that's awesome. I'm excited for the A3 stuff, because, you know, there's you don't need the recovery machine. You don't need, like, it's environmentally safe, all that kind of stuff. And you don't have to worry about too much. I mean, we're not going to blow up. It's just a small amount.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. I'm excited for that one.
Yep.
Well, thanks again.
Adrian,
that was a lot of good information.
Very nice meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to thank our new sponsors, CallRail. So I've been more into marketing and just online presence with our business. Even though we only do commercial, word of mouth is really good for any business. But once you get to a place where you want to be, you know, a big name online or just anywhere, be recognizable, like I said, online presence, have a nice website, be able to be searchable in Google and all these different search engines, and just have a big presence. You need to know where to spend your money, and all I'm going to say is that CallRail can help you track that if that's something that you're interested in. CallRail can tell you, hey, these are not working so much. These are working really good. Stop spending your money here. Put more money and effort into this. and just be smarter about what you spend. So make sure you go by callrail.com. They do have a no risk free trial and you can check it out for yourself. I also want to thank another new sponsor, Residio. Basically, they help with a sustainable home and they make it a safer, cleaner, and smarter home. They have so many things that work together. They were showing me the new thermostats that they have going on, how it's implemented together, and all these different little, smart devices that connect and talk to each other. So if you want to learn more, head over to residio.com and check it out for yourself.
So I'm here at the Danfoss booth at AHR Expo, and I am here with
Michael Kellerman. I'm Director of Business Development with Danfoss Electronic Controls business, and we're also talking about our Danfoss business in general today. So thanks for having me.
Thank you for making the time to sit down with me. I actually use a lot of Danfoss in my everyday, work week. Like I said, every single day, ice machines, refrigeration equipment. I see Danfoss everywhere, like on compressors, different components.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you have here in the booth that I'm interested in looking at. So why don't we go over and talk new technology and AI and all that connectivity that you guys have going on?
Okay, that sounds good.
So we're here on this wall. You guys are talking about AI smart connectivity and kind of like, can you just go through and tell us what you guys have going forward with all this new tech, AI, all that kind of stuff?
Sure. So I guess this is a great example of really where I think the industry is going. It's where Danfoss is trying to help the industry. And this is our new AlSmart universal controller. What's interesting about this and what we're trying to do is really get smarter data from components and sensors, whether that's the compressor, whether it's a valve. And then once you have that data, how do we get that into our control system as far as a unit or a system level, but then also trying to make that data available to the cloud where you can access that as a technician, or an AI algorithm can process that and do something with that.
So that's a big thing, because I know a lot of technicians out there, no matter like if they're on the small scale or industrial scale, they like that cloud service to where they can, a customer calls them for something and they want to look at the data, the log sheet, whatever it is, they can kind of tell what's going on before they even leave their house.
Right.
So,
and to that point, I think there's multiple ways we can do that, right?
Sure.
So I think we're all starting to see the Bluetooth apps on different devices. So this one, for example, I was tapping into with a Bluetooth app beforehand just to check that. But at the same time, also trying to take that data from a controller or from a system to a cloud, to a network, to your point, so you can access that information.
Yeah.
Or again, what we're starting to see now is trying to apply more predictive algorithms or AI concepts and getting better analysis, and at some point, even some type of better control feedback.
So does that AI help with adjusting anything? Like, can it, like you said, it's an algorithm type of deal?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways you can use that. One is really to try to analyze the data for trends or smarter alarms, not just a high temp alarm, but maybe I've got 2 or 3 inputs that I can analyze that and tell you it's something more than I just have a high temp, right? Maybe it's an issue with the compressor that's causing the high temp. I can give you better information. So that's one of the goals. And then,
kind of like predictive and
then another goal is that predictive aspect.
Sure.
So I start to see those trends, which as a technician, you see that over time.
If I was,
but you may be in bed and you're not seeing it. I was
going to say, if I was actually, able to watch it or kind of log it, like you said, over time, I can tell as a technician what's going to fail, what's going to happen. So like I said, having those trends and then the algorithm, all that kind of stuff, that's like the future of, troubleshooting.
Exactly. And really the challenge in our industry, right, is one, smarter components.
Yeah.
2, getting things connected, the right protocols, the right communication language, and then getting that information to where it needs to be, whether it's in your hands as a technician or an end user cloud system, BMS system.
So like, this is a bit over my head. This is a lot of tech here that you guys have going on, but that's kind of where, like you said, the industry is going. So I know a lot of technicians that were in the field turning wrenches, working all the mechanical stuff, and now they have to learn this, and then they're, trained up, and they make a ton of money in that corner of the trade, and they're on computers programming. They can read all this stuff. They can make a living doing this, like the connectivity stuff, all the digital controls, that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, I'd encourage people to continue to check out the training and information that's out there on the web, the Danfoss website, as well as others, podcasts. But this is really where the industry is going to go. We see it more in our house, in a consumer area where some of the technology is going, right? It's coming, and it's going to be where our industry has to go.
It's everywhere at this point. You guys have a lot of components, a lot of smart components here. I think we can go to the other side now.
Yeah, we can take a look.
All right, so on this wall over here, you can kind of guide us through how all that tech ties into different markets and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure. So I thought maybe it's a good idea. We're talking about getting this data, this information, and how do you do something with it, right? So this right here would be a typical grocery store setup, what you might see with supervisory controllers, case controllers, controllers that are controlling a CO2 refrigeration system, a few others in that ecosystem. And then, what we talk about is trying to get that information where you can make use of it. So in this case, a lot of this information is going into a cloud monitoring service. This happens to be our Danfoss monitoring center. So we're monitoring grocery stores across the globe. So now we've taken some of this temperature information here as an example, and these are cases in a grocery store with temperature deviation over 24 hours, the last 24 hours. So I can quickly make use of that information and say I've got cases that are operating pretty good. These in yellow are in defrost. But if you look down here, a lot of red here. These cases right here is where I would tell my technicians, let's go take a look at that, make sure we don't have a failure coming, or let's work on some energy efficiency on those cases.
So it's able to tell you basically every hour what the temp was.
Yes.
Because I can tell you from experience, obviously I work on smaller stuff. Whenever I fix or work on a freezer or something like that, I got to sit there for a few hours and make sure it's working. So, being able to see this display laid out for you, obviously you can see when it's going into the red, that's a concern, and you can go into it, and then you have all this information. And this is all from Danfoss's cloud portal?
Yeah, this is our Alsense service, which is really a cloud portal and monitoring service. So we've got some other screens. So to your point, if you were concerned about that case, we can then dig into some other screens and look at better trending of that
into that case itself.
Exactly, exactly. And then if we take the concept even farther, I think this is really exciting what we're doing at Danfoss. You can see here behind our colleague here, we built a smart store outside our headquarters in Denmark. And this is basically what you would call a small grocery store or convenience size store in the US.
Okay.
And what's unique about this is it's got a lot of the systems that a typical grocery store has. We've got solar systems, we've got refrigeration, we've got air conditioning, we've got heated walkways system in there. But what's different is we've tied these systems together, both mechanically and then also from a data aspect. And then what we're trying to do, this little graphic on the right here, is we're trying to figure out how do you optimize all of these systems working together at different times of the year to have the most energy efficient store. So it sounds like a noble goal. It sounds like it should make sense, but actually doing it in real life is pretty difficult. So right now we're in that sandbox trying to figure out how we help do that so that we can bring those solutions to the market, to the technicians, to the stores here in the future.
So there, like you said, depending on the season, you're using that CO2 system and kind of, what were we calling it earlier?
Yeah, so we have a thermal loop around the store.
Yeah.
And then along with a CO2 refrigeration system, we're using a heat reclaim system. So that excess heat coming off the refrigeration system, we're using that to heat the store, melt the ice, heat the store inside. And matter of fact, we don't even use any heat at this grocery store.
Okay.
It's all generated by our CO2 system and used. And then we do get excess heat, so we can take the excess heat and put that in the ground loop that is under the store.
Yeah.
And then if we have even more, that ground loop is tied to the district energy loop. And so the district energy, other homes, other offices can use that hot energy.
So there's an output.
And we can pull that back into the store if we needed that at some point as well.
So it's all connected.
All connected. So
you can see this chart right here too.
Yeah. So now you're connecting a you know, every device in the store, to every system in the store, to the surrounding community, and really trying to optimize all of the energy and make sure it all keeps working, right?
Yeah, that's a big part. So is this one of a kind?
To my knowledge, this is on this scale is it's got to be one of the few, if it's not one of a kind at this point.
I've never seen it before.
Yeah, you can see all the different photovoltaic systems, battery charge systems, battery storage systems, refrigeration, obviously, heating, hydronic, and then really trying to tie all of that together.
And that's all ran through Danfoss too? Like,
yeah, I mean, some of these are our solutions or parts of our solutions. Others, we don't make all of those systems.
It's just connected.
But we're pulling them together, correct. One of the other examples, again, as I mentioned, the challenge is getting good information, getting that where it needs to be, and then turning it into something that's of value to you as a technician. This screen right here is an example of what we call temperature quality index. And what it does is it tells you, it looks at those operating cases in this example.
Sure.
It tells you what percentage of the time that they're operating in the set points that you want them to be. So this is actually a pretty good store. Most of them are 80% of the time that they're operating where they need to be. What's happening with the other 20%? You can go over here and take a look. For example, this one's been in defrost quite a bit of that time.
Yeah.
Maybe something you want to check out. These other ones have been out of spec high for most of that time. So it really helps you as a technician, as a store manager, a chain manager, go in and say, here's where I need to really look at some of my equipment, how it's operating, and focus in on the ones that are really giving you the biggest issues.
That's a lot of good information. And then, like I mentioned earlier, there's alarms. You get a bunch of...
Yeah, we can dive into alarm information on any piece of equipment. Then we can look at some of the historical operating parameters around that as well. But it really starts with getting the best information you can from a device and a sensor through your controls, through your communication networks, and then being able to share that where you need it, when you need it.
That's awesome. So we have smart homes, we have smart grocery storage. It's all getting AI and connectivity and stuff like that. So this is called AlSmart?
AlSense is our monitoring solution. Yep. And what we were looking at on the other side was AlSmart, which is an example of this new technology controller built around high cybersecurity standards, multiple communication protocols, and really a lot of flexibility. And that's really the basis of more electronics you'll see from Danfoss here in the future.
Well, I can't wait for that. A lot of interesting stuff. And thanks again for taking the time.
Adrian, thank you. It's great to meet you, and have a great show.
All right, thank you.